today to talk about a crisis unlike we've ever known, but one that you know very well here at Mesa and throughout the Valley. They secure a fixed rate mortgage at a reasonable rate, and they make a down payment, and they make their mortgage payments each month. They are as responsible as anyone could ask them to be. But then they learn that acting responsibly often isn't enough to escape this crisis. Perhaps somebody loses a job in the latest round of layoffs. A large down payment. The current value of your mortgage may still be higher than the current value of your house. So no bank will return your calls, and no sale will return your investment. You can't afford to leave, you can't afford to stay. So you start cutting back on luxuries. Then you start cutting back on necessities. You spend down your savings to keep up with your payments. And then you open the retirement fund. And then you use the credit cards. And when you've gone through everything you have and done everything you can, you have no choice but to default on your loan. And so your home joins the nearly 6 million others in foreclosure or at risk of foreclosure across the country. For while there are millions of families who face foreclosure, there are millions more who are in no danger of losing their homes, but who have still seen their dreams in danger. They're the families who see the for sale signs lining the streets, who see neighbors leave, and homes standing vacant, and lawns slowly turning brown. More than 25% since 2006, and in Phoenix they've fallen by 43%. Now, even if your neighbor hasn't been hit by foreclosures, you're likely feeling the effects of this crisis in other ways. Companies in your community that depend on the housing market, construction companies and home furnishing stores and painters and landscapers, they're all cutting back and laying people off. The number of residential construction jobs has fallen by more than 250,000 since mid-2006. As businesses lose revenue and people lose income, the tax base shrinks, which means less money for schools and police and fire departments. And on top of this, the costs to local government associated with a single foreclosure can be as high as $20,000. Recovery and Reinvestment Act, which will create The Act will create or save 3.5 million jobs over the next 2 years, including 70,000 right here in Arizona. Doing the work America needs done. And we're also going to work to stabilize, repair, and reform our financial system to get credit flowing again to families and businesses. But it will give millions of families resigned to financial ruin a chance to rebuild. It will prevent the worst consequences of this crisis from wreaking even greater havoc on the economy. And by bringing down the foreclosure rate, it will help to shore up housing prices for everybody. According to estimates by the Treasury Department, this plan could stop the slide in home prices due to neighboring foreclosures by up to $6,000 per home. We will make it possible for an estimated 4 to 5 million currently ineligible homeowners who receive their mortgages through Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac to refinance their mortgages at a lower rate. Today, as a result of declining home values, millions of families are what's called underwater, which simply means that they owe more on their mortgages than their homes are currently worth. These families are unable to sell their homes, but they're also unable to refinance. Millions of middle-class families are generally not permitted to guarantee refinancing for mortgages valued at more than 80% of the home's worth. So families who are underwater, or close to being underwater, can't turn to these lending institutions for help. My plan changes that by removing this restriction on Fannie and Freddie so they can refinance mortgages they already own or guarantee. It'll allow millions of families stuck with loans at a higher rate to refinance. And the estimated cost to taxpayers would be roughly zero. While Fannie and Freddie would receive less money in payments, this would be balanced out by a reduction in defaults and foreclosures. The third part of the plan. We will take major steps to keep mortgage rates low for millions of middle-class families looking to secure new mortgages. Today, most new home loans are backed by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which guarantee loans and set standards to keep mortgage rates low and to keep mortgage financing available and predictable for middle-class families. Its existing authority, Treasury will provide up to $200 billion in capital to ensure that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac can continue to stabilize markets and hold mortgage rates together. The provisions of this plan will help us end this crisis and preserve for millions of families their stake in the American dream. You know, those core values of common sense and responsibility, those are the values that have defined this nation. Those are the values that have given substance to our faith in the American dream. Those are the values we have to restore now, at this defining moment. It will not be easy, but if we move forward with purpose and resolve, with a deepened appreciation of how fundamental the American dream is and how fragile it can be when we fail to live up to our collective responsibilities, if we go back to our roots, our core values, I am absolutely confident we will overcome this crisis and once again secure that dream, not just for ourselves, but for generations to come. Thank you. God bless you. God bless the United States of America.
Listen to the President's plan firsthand, so I really am hopeful that his plan will help many of my constituents in my community, especially in District 13. We have many people that are facing foreclosures, and I feel that this plan is solid and it will be able to help the right people to get out and to be able to stay in their homes, and I think that's our #1 key, is to have our people stay in their homes. So overall, I was very excited to hear his plan and can't wait for it to get started to help our people.
Presidente, para ayudarnos a nosotros, y hoy enseñó que aquí está para nosotros, no para el político que está en Washington, está aquí para nosotros.
¿Te parece justo que está ayudando nada más a aquellas personas que han sido responsables y no a los prestamistas o a los que compraron casas sin tener el dinero para hacerlo?
Pues yo oí que va a trabajar con todos. Es el plan que yo oí, que va a trabajar con los bancos, con los que ganaron el dinero, que los sacaron los préstamos, y es un plan que incluye a todos porque es el único modo que vamos a salir, si es todos incluidos.
¿Te pareció que va a ser suficiente o todavía falta hacer mucho más?
No, todavía va a ser mucho más. Va a ser más trabajo del político de Washington, pero también más trabajo de nosotros, y por eso es la razón que estamos aquí, porque todavía necesitamos que trabajar todo. Va a ser más trabajo.
I pray for him and I sympathize with him, but this is the man of hope, and let's give hope a chance. And from what he said today, coming out here to Mesa, Arizona, you know, a little boondock of the state of Arizona, coming out here lets the common man know that there is help on the way. That's wonderful.